This is Lundon Calling's show number 8 of the London Bridge Talk Show, where we bridge the gaps with 3 generations of Gabby gays. And bridging those generation gaps are your hosts, Sean Chandler, Donny Winter, and myself, Ace Lundon. And as the elder at age 80, I shall moderate the show with Sean at age 50 and Donny at age 25 or close to it. And let's see how the generations are thinking. I think we're sort of the gay male answer to The View with our thoughts, except I'm sure that we are so much more intelligent than those View girls are. Anyway, welcome to the show, folks. Fasten your seatbelts. No topic is taboo, and we warn you in advance that we do have potty mouths, okay? So take it for what it's worth. There is so much good in the worst of us and so much bad in the best of us. It is hard to tell which of us ought to reform the rest of us. Ah, yes. Especially in these political times. Holy crap. And St. Augustine said, "Love God and do what you please." And I want you to think about that, folks. If you really do love the Creator, our Creator, you don't need any more books to give you guidance or to tell you what to do and what not to do. You don't need all of that. If you love God, do what you please, because your Creator will guide you. You'll know what to do at the correct times if you really do love your Creator, God. Okay? Oh, dear. Sometimes I get into a preachy mood. Forgive me. Nah, forget it. Anyway, Sean, are you there?
I am. Hi, guys. Hi, listeners.
Hi, and Donny?
I am here. Hello, everyone.
Yes. Now, folks, Donny's in Missouri. Sean tonight is in Alabama. And I don't know why he left New York City to go to Alabama, but it has to be something very important. Anyway, and I'm here in Bullhead City, Arizona, where all the bullheads are. And so we're scattered all over, and we're of the different age generation gaps. And we are also all, I'm a little gay. Donny is a lot gay, and I think Sean can't make up his mind. He's just married to a man. Okay. Anyway, we're a strange group. And I happen to believe that we're an intelligent group, because I couldn't really be around people too much if I had to be around somebody who's really stupid. Oh, God. It's like somebody says, well, would you be around Donald Trump? I said, hell yes. That mind of his is absolutely amazing. Yeah, and as a psychologist, I would want to get to know him, because I'd like to know where in the hell he's getting, where he's coming from. You know, he's an intelligent man. Do I agree with him? No, I didn't agree with my mother and father either on a number of things, but we're not supposed to necessarily agree with one another on everything. Sean nails me to the canvas every once in a while, but he has that right to do that. And Donny hasn't tried it yet, but he's young. He'll get his muscles going one day and stomp on both Sean and myself. No, we don't have to agree. Okay. So, okay, guys. What would the Price is Right show be called? Not a quiz show. What's it called?
A game show?
A game show where people can win prizes. Yeah. Now, I'm just thinking of The Price is Right. But is it me or what? Do you think that the contestants on The Price is Right these days make absolutely perfect asses out of themselves? And I can't get over it. And I'm saying, this is national television that they're on, and they are no, God, screaming and hollering and falling on the floor, picking the what's his name? Drew Carey, picking him up off the floor. If I was a host and somebody picked me up off the floor, I'd slap him on the ears, because you don't do that. It just, am I too old? Is that what it is? That these people are acting like asses and they really aren't? But what do you guys think? Have you seen them?
Well, I don't watch The Price is Right. I used to as a kid, but I don't anymore. But I feel this way whenever I watch Judge Judy. Like, I'm always like, how are these people existing? Like, how are they making adult decisions? Well, granted, they're on there usually because they can't make adult decisions, but that's besides the point. But I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know. I was on, I was a contestant years ago, back in the 50s, when I was 15 years old. They had picked me out of the audience, probably because I'd put down on that card that I was from Beersford, South Dakota, farm boy. And they draw from the audience, Anyway, I was one of the ones that was picked, and I was the only child. All the others were adults that were picked. And we went through, and I got all of the questions and everything. But I would have never, ever thought about hollering, yelling, and doing stupid things on the show. Ken Curtis, who was the limpy guy on Gunsmoke, was at that time, he was the host of the talk show. And he was a good talk show host. Ken Curtis. But I'm saying, I can't, just can't get my mind around what these people are doing on national television.
The limpy guy.
Well, I couldn't remember what his character name was.
That's eloquent, Ace. I'm going to have my friend Ed Ramsey not listen to this show, because he swears by The Price is Right. He watches it every day.
But Sean, I got to tell you this. What's embarrassing to me is some of the guys that are acting really stupid. I learn, and because they say, "Oh, my husband in the audience," and I'm saying, "Oh my God, he's gay and he's acting like an asshole," making, geez, I'm embarrassed by him.
Oh, they all act like that. Don't you know that's part of the gig? I mean, they scope the audience. Those people line up probably about a good 2 hours before the show. They're walking through the line to see who has high energy. It's almost a requirement to be called up there when they say, "Come on down." Mm-hmm. And so I just think that's what they're looking for, and so that's what they get. I mean, do you want some depression case walking up there and bidding on the showcase package, acting like they're on Paxil or something?
Yeah, but the guests or the people weren't that bad with Bob Barker until
of course they were,
until in the latter times. I mean, they didn't. I mean, yeah, I feel like I'm sometimes in Haiti watching a voodoo thing.
Oh, stop it! No. I understand that they act really spazzy, and maybe they're supposed to, but the game show that really makes me laugh is Let's Make a Deal, which actually has a current version now as well with host Wayne Brady, where not only do they act crazy and wild, but they dress up in Halloween costumes. And
now that makes sense to me, believe it or not, because they're in those stupid costumes. I say, okay, they're there to be stupid. That's fine. But when you're in regular clothes, and most of those people don't even dress up to go to a show these days. I think some of them walk up there with their pajama bottoms on, and it just doesn't make sense with that group. But with the Brady group, yeah, they're all dressed up in crazy outfits. That's what they come there for, and that makes sense, and I can tolerate that.
Well, I'm not a big fan of game shows, anyways.
Yeah.
Nor am I.
If you won, you would be.
No, I wouldn't.
I won. I won on the Lucky You show. I beat out all those old people that were beyond 15 years of age.
Well, of course you did, darling.
Why would I want to win a game show when I feel like I win every day?
That felt so good. And, it's so funny, because I think Sean knows this. One of the things that I won on the show were original shirts from Don Loper, the great men's clothing designer back in the 50s. And I won some of those shirts. Oh, they were nice, really nice. And then, as it happened, years later, 2 years or 3 years later, when I was modeling, I end up becoming one of Mr. Loper's models on the runway. So I got a chance to meet the man that had made the great shirts for the giveaway show,
Well, the closest I ever got to the Lopers was the Ropers.
The Ropers? Okay. What is this, the Ropers?
Mr. and Mrs. Roper from Three's Company. Oh, Ace.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, Thud. They can't all be winners. I put them all out there, though.
Yeah. Oh, God. Okay. Do you guys watch porn?
Meh. Once in a while.
Once in a while.
Yeah, once in a while.
Okay.
If my husband's not around.
Yeah.
Once in a while, that's otherwise there it is, right there in front of me. I have walking porn in front of me, so.
Yeah. That's pretty normal. Everyone, all the evangelicals are worried about everybody watching porn. Porn has been around longer than evangelicalism, and it will be around longer. That it's important. It really is an important aspect of our society, and maybe we'll get into this on what we're going to be talking about how time takes its toll on us as humans. Somebody said, "Do you watch porn?" I said, "Yes, of course I do." When did you start? I said, when I was young, but I said the porn when I was young was not like the porn that exists today. The porn that I had when I was young was all written stories, articles, no pictures. Well, maybe a picture now and then of some nude person. That's about it. But the articles were hot, And that was the porn that I started watching back in the 40s or 50s, something, 50s. And so it was important for me as a young person to experience the stirring of the juices, I guess you could say. And it's important for all of us to have our juices stirred from time to time when they need to be. And this goes for straight or gay, believe me, all that. But I often wonder who watches porn.
Donny, I have to tell you, you guys and your generation are so lucky with your availability to porn, because Ace had books, and when I was younger and I wanted to access porn, I'd have to go to like the porn store. And it was magazines back then, and this is even before like VCRs and VHS tapes. It was, and then there was the disgusting like porno video booths that you'd go into, and that was just a freak show. And then you'd actually have to sit there and buy these male magazines, and you get good at it after a while, but it's not like you just pop open the computer and type in,
whatever,
nudie gay man muscle man pics or whatever, and then there's like a list of movies for you to choose. So you guys
said to me the other day, type in Mormon gay porn. I said, why Mormon? He says because they're so controlled that he says they have a lot of porn. I said, okay. I don't know. The Presbyterians maybe have it too.
God. But don't you agree, Ace, that Donnie's generation is totally spoiled with this?
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, I was just remembering the magazines that you were talking about, and I thought, when they started coming out, I'm saying, wow, oh, my God, now I have to buy it in public. But I did it anyway, because they were there,
Oh, I pity your past selves. I'm sorry.
I know.
Life is so good.
Yes.
Yeah. Even I'm taking a ride in the LaSalle this week. So.
Yeah. Speaking of the LaSalle, to all of you who are listening in, we do not think in advance sometimes about, for instance, I found that picture of the LaSalle, which I drove while I was in high school for a while, and the picture brought back memories, and then other pictures that I'm finding and such, and I just got some stuff from the storage that takes me back into the late 1800s, and I'm saying, men, women, boys, girls out there in Podland, I don't know how you can do it these days because the cameras are these silly little cameras, and they don't, where are the pictures? You don't get the pictures except when you look in the camera. When we had pictures, we put them in scrapbooks. And as you age, you keep the scrapbook up, you'll find that you can go back and your entire life is right there before you in a scrapbook. And if you don't have pictures, you're going to be missing out on a lot of the things that did exist. That's why I always used to say to the kids, if you're going to take a picture of, say, Mount Rushmore, get in the picture with it, because that makes each picture very important. It's just not a picture of a stone or a flower or this. Put people into the pictures. And that is also something that is very good for your mind as you age, because you'll look back at that. So that's good. Plus, folks, if you aren't taking vacations with your kids, I am going to hit you with my purse. It is absolutely something that is so very important. If you have been blessed as a straight person to have children that you have produced,
or a gay person,
or if you have been blessed as a gay person to be able to have adopted children, or nowadays it's even going beyond that, make sure that you spend time on vacations. You don't have to go around the world, I think the first vacation we ever took was just across the state to see Mount Rushmore, and that. So, but then each one got different. We'd go here, we'd go there, and Dad did this. And I asked him one time before he died. I said, "How come you took us on all those vacations? Now that I'm older, that cost money." And he says, "Yeah, but what's the money, He says, you needed to see things that maybe you wouldn't get a chance to see if I didn't take you there." And I thought, wow, yeah, okay. and so it is important, folks. And you get a chance to spend time with your parent, and even your siblings. Anyway.
I want to go back to the photo comment that you made, and I have to ask Donny. Donny, are you on Snapchat?
I am.
You are? Okay.
What is that?
Snapchat is this app you can download on your phone where you can send pictures to your friends or videos to your friends.
Like selfies?
Yeah, yeah.
But there's a catch to it, right?
Yeah, I think after a certain period of time they get deleted.
Yeah, isn't it like a very, very quick period of time? Like you send it, and then like maybe a day later the photo's gone, right? Or the video.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
So that to me just shows the complete opposite end of the continuum of what you were talking about, Ace, where you're like, take pictures because you want to put them in photo albums and, look at them, when you're decades and decades older. And yet we've got an application that takes pictures and deletes them immediately. That's how far we've come.
And that's an attempt at worthlessness.
I'm not a huge fan of Snapchat.
Well, I certainly am not, but I don't even know about it. But, listen, at least I was led to believe on the internet that when I put my photos into the, you scan them and put them on your net or whatever you call it, and that they would be there forever and ever and ever. Do you know that I have lost photos on the net? Have you lost photos?
I don't think I have lost photos.
Well, I have thousands of them, and I have lost probably at least 100. They just disappeared.
I don't take that many photos, and this is nothing against you. Okay? And when I say this is only me just owning this action myself. If I've ever lost any photo off of the internet, it's because it's been my own ignorance or stupidity in not being able to transfer them onto the internet or put them on my computer correctly.
I get your drift.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know.
It could be. I could push the wrong button,
Oh yeah.
But what pisses me off most is the fact that after I scanned them, I didn't need them anymore because they were there permanently in my folders. Well, I got rid of the pictures, the originals. I know. If I didn't, though, I'd have boxes of 6,000 some pictures.
Oh my God, I cannot believe you got rid of the originals. Ace. Oh my goodness.
I know.
That was a really nice swoon you did there, Donny. I loved it. I felt the back of your hand going to your forehead. I was like, is he fainted?
I nearly dropped my purse. Damn.
Yeah, I did that.
I nearly tripped in my damn heels.
I did that stupidly. You're right.
Over the train on your dress.
Yep.
Well, I'm also like I don't know about I don't know when the last time it was that you went to a concert, Ace, but Donny, when I go to a concert, I'm always flabbergasted. Like, people have got their phones up. They're not watching the concert. They're actually watching the concert through the lens of their phone.
Oh, my God, that annoys the hell out of me.
Oh, it would me, too.
It's like, people, you're at the concert. Enjoy it.
Oh, yeah.
I had this conversation 2 days ago. Isn't that wild? And now you bring it up. I've never been to a concert, I came to the conclusion. Everything that I've been to is in nightclubs, huge nightclubs that they used to have and things like that, or large auditoriums that would accommodate, like ballrooms and such. But I've never been to a concert. I wanted to go to Woodstock and didn't make it. But, yeah, I've never been to a concert.
That's more of a music festival, Woodstock.
Okay, what do you call a concert?
Well, like something that would happen like at Dodger Stadium or Madison Square Garden or...
Oh, I've never been to one of those. Wow.
Well, the thing is, even at music festivals, though, people still have their phones out recording everything. I think it's just a different type of venue.
Jeez. Oh, yeah, or fireworks shows. Like, we'll go to Disneyland, and there's this beautiful, gorgeous fireworks show going on over our heads with music and stuff. And what do we have? Every single family with their phones out recording it. And
if there is one thing I hate in this universe, it is firework photos or firework videos. Oh my God.
Pretty much, you've seen one, you've seen them all.
Well,
Right?
I mean, and my feeling is that who in the hell ever actually like goes back into the phone and says, "Oh, look, I have a fireworks show that I want you to watch," without having somebody go, "Are you fucking kidding me? I don't have 10 minutes to watch your dumb fireworks show."
Well, yeah, I'd be like, who gives a flying fuck?
Yeah,
I know I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
In agreement there. No, we've really changed over the generations. Oh, my God.
Well.
But we do change. Let's take a look at how time takes its toll on us. And I'm going to read a lot of this because I can't remember it. And this is from the U.S. News and World Report in 1997. Even if you're already 40 or 50, it could be decades before you fully realize you are aging. The loss of 40% of lung capacity by age 80 is so gradual that most people never sense the difference. Besides, the signposts on this page are population averages, it says. So as car people say, your mileage may vary. Now, Sean, you've got a lot more mileage than Donny does, and I've got a couple of miles ahead of you. But let's take a look at the different ages. Now, the teenage years and the 20s, they're basically your years of getting to know yourself sexually, I think. Pretty much so. No big deal. That's just where it's all at. And your testosterone is running at the high speed. Let's see, what would that be? Well, at 20, that's when your testosterone peaks, and then starts to slowly decline. But that's dating time and such. And by the end of your 20s, your relatives and such, if you haven't gotten married, your relatives are wondering if there's something wrong with you, and you end up being pushed into a marriage, or you've screwed your way into a marriage because you didn't use a condom.
Or you have cats.
Or you have cats, okay?
Oh, it's funny.
Okay.
Wait, is that the 30s? In the 30s?
No, that's the 20s.
I'm already at that point.
Now the 30s, that's the years that that all of us foolish humans realize, oh my God, I got married. Now I got kids. Now I got to work. I have to support them. I can't do anything myself again. I'm going to really limit my abilities, et cetera, et cetera. And the 30s are shitty years for most people, even though they say they're wonderful because look at our little children, But then the 40s. At 40, the body burns 120 fewer calories a day than at age 30, making weight control harder. So, let's see, Sean, you've already got there. You're on your way.
How do I always get out of this? I just wow, okay.
And you're on your way, Donny. Okay. Now the body is 5/8 of an inch shorter at 40 than at 30, and it will continue to shrink by about 1/16 of an inch a year because of changes in our 40s, changes in posture, bone loss, and compression of our spongy discs that separate the vertebrae.
Well, you've already gotten there, so
I tell you, I mean, I have shrunk a little over 3 inches from what I was at 20. Yeah, it's amazing. Okay, changes of the inner ear erode the ability to hear higher frequencies for men, who lose hearing more than twice as fast as women do, and it starts in the 40s. The eyes begin to have trouble focusing on magazines and other close objects as the lenses of our eyes become thicker in our 40s. Now, you've already experienced the 40s, Sean. Does any of that ring true for you so far?
Yeah, although in my 40s, I was a much lighter weight than I am now. But that was because of the fact that I ate better and I exercised more. I don't know. I thought the 40s were a great time for me, physically and mentally. I will agree with you.
Talking about your weight, at 40, the body begins to burn 120 fewer calories a day than it was at age 30, and therefore weight control is harder in your 40s, just like you did say you experienced.
No. I mean, like in my 40s, in my mid to, well, I stress eat. So when my life gets stressful, I eat more. But in my early 40s to mid 40s, I was thinner than I ever was in my 30s. But that's also because I wasn't working a restaurant job, or I wasn't working 70 hours a week and just eating on the fly, and I had time to work out, and I was happier and that. But I think a lot of it really has to do up to, I'm going to guess 60 years old. I hope I have another 10 years left of some hope.
We'll see.
I think that a lot of that has to do with your lifestyle.
Well, let's see. You're in your 50s now. And in the 50s, with menopause, you don't have to worry about that. Fertility ends and lower estrogen speeds bone loss and raises the risk of heart disease for you ladies. In your 50s. As the eye's sensitivity to contrast declines, the ability to see in dim light or under conditions of glare or to catch sight of moving objects diminishes. I can attest to that. Mm-hmm. Loss of strength becomes measurable as muscle mass diminishes in your 50s. That's when you start sagging, Sean.
Well, that's actually happening.
Vulnerability to infections and cancer increases. The thymus, a gland that plays a key role in the immune system, has shrunk by 90 to 95% in your 50s. You know, whether straight or gay, these are things that we really need to kind of think about, I think, and realize what's happening around us as we go through from one generation into another generation, you know?
Isn't this so hopeful, Donny?
I am feeling inspired.
Yeah. On days when you think, oh, God, I just don't have it in me today. I'm dragging my ass. Just think about me. And then, of course, Ace, who...
It makes me want to cry.
Yeah.
As long as I have coffee with me and wine when it's necessary, I will be fine.
Well, if you get into your 60s now, making out conversations becomes harder, especially for men, as high-frequency hearing deteriorates further in the 60s.
Oh, you mean hearing conversations. When you said making out conversations, I was like...
No, making out conversations.
How do you have conversations while you're making out with someone? I was so confused. How do you accomplish this?
You just don't make out anymore in your 60s. That's all. You just go right to it.
Yeah.
Oh, God, even more depressing.
Yeah, you just go right to the finish line and hope that you get there.
Well, evidently, the high-frequency hearing deteriorates further than it did back in, in your 50s or something? I can't remember. So that's ahead. Consonants, which carry most of the meaning of speech, largely consist of high frequencies. And the pancreas, our lovely pancreas, which processes glucose, works less efficiently in your 60s.
Oh, my God, I feel like I'm in health class.
Blood sugar levels rise, and more people are diagnosed in their 60s with adult-onset diabetes. Well,
Sean, we're in health class, but we're not learning the fun things.
I know, right?
Yet.
Can we go back to talking about porn?
Joints, your joints are stiff in the morning. How about that one? Okay.
Oh.
It's in your 60s, particularly to the knees, hips, and spine, because you have wear and tear of the cartilage that cushions them. And men's sexual daydreams all but vanish after age 65. Researchers don't know why. How about that?
Interesting.
Now, are you thinking about your father and grandfather or uncles and such, or your aunts and what they're going through?
Not
Now
them,
I'm being selfish and thinking about what I'm going to go through.
Well, that's a good thing, but when you think of others around you, and you realize, oh God, he's in his 60s. Matter of fact, he evidently isn't daydreaming about sexual daydreams anymore, or he's lost pretty much of that. And then I say to myself, I'm so glad that I have told my kids, never stop your ability to fantasize. Keep up that ability over the years, because I knew when I was talking to them, I knew that the ability would get less and less as the years pass. And the ability to fantasize is what keeps us sexually active. And that's why porn is a good thing.
You're talking about how, like, men's sexual you said their sexual daydreams diminish. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But whenever I talk to you, you talk a lot about sex. It seems like you think about sex a lot during the day.
Well, then you know who is the biggest fantasizer of all.
Is this just training that you've...
Yeah.
Is this a training regimen that you've put yourself under?
I have trained myself over the years to fantasize.
So are you like a master of sexual fantasy?
And I think it started because I didn't have the things to see in porn back when I started, and I had to read them, because reading them makes you fantasize. You see. You're seeing in your mind. And that is what was good. And I think that has helped me, because I can close my eyes and see things that you would not believe.
We'll pass. Thanks.
Oh, okay.
But Donny, don't you take that as like I don't know, does that feel like a dig to you, and that the younger generation has lost its ability to be imaginative?
I am imaginative.
Well, I know you are, but like, do you think that your generation has lost its ability to be imaginative just because of the huge amount of everything's right there at your fingertips?
Yeah, I think that is true. Mostly because things are just, like you were saying, are so easy now, so accessible that it takes no effort to conjure the image. Like, you can just point and click. Oh, there's the image.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so now, are you personally?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Do you feel that that's a crutch that people use that you don't use?
Yeah, sometimes. I'll give you an example. So, I cannot even believe I'm telling you guys the story, but oh well.
Oh, yay. Now we must know.
So, I had an ex who was, like, sexting me, inappropriate text messages. And, like, I know a lot of gays want pictures or, videos of you in, like, provocative situations. And I've always been that person. I've been like, nope, sorry. Nope. And we were having this conversation, and I was giving him an explanation as to why I do not want to give out pictures and things like that. And I was like, why don't you just imagine? And he was like, but I don't feel like it. I'm too lazy. And I'm like, are you kidding me? If you're telling me this now, do you think I'm going to want to do anything else with you?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yes. Oh, dear.
Well, I think that of your generation, don't you think that now correct me if I'm wrong, your feelings about that are in the minority?
I don't know, because I know quite a few others who would agree with me on it. I really think it depends on the person, too, because I would say guys much younger than me, like, several years younger than me, they would probably not agree with me. But I feel like in my age range, they would probably agree with me.
Agree with you in how you feel about about sending pornographic images of yourself from one phone to another.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like the laziness.
Oh, okay.
Lack of imagination. I am most certainly in the minority when it comes to that.
So you're saying most people would probably, they would rather not be imaginative.
Almost every, like, I don't know, online dating seems to be one of the most convenient ways to date people nowadays. Mm-hmm. And almost every single guy that I have ever talked to through online dating at some point or another has requested some sort of imagery like that. Which is kind of scary, but...
How come I never get them?
Well, you never ask.
Well, I'm beyond that level. In your 70s, folks, your blood pressure is 20 to 25% higher than in your 20s. The thicker, stiffer artery walls can't flex as much with each heartbeat in your 70s. Oh, Lord help us, yes. Reaction to loud noises and other stimuli is delayed as the brain's ability to send messages to your extremities slows down. Short-term memory and the ability to learn spoken material, like a new language, decline with changes in your brain function. More than half of the men show signs of coronary artery disease. And a wonderful thing in the 70s, your sweat glands shrink or stop working in both men and women, raising the risk of heat stroke, but reducing the need for deodorants.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm not buying that, but go on.
Why, have you smelled some sweaty old 70-year-olds?
Afraid so.
Oh, dear.
Go on.
Okay, now we're into my group. Women become particularly susceptible to falling and to disabling hip fractures. They are generally weaker than men and by now have lost over half the bone mass in the hips and upper legs. Okay, ladies, take this to heart. You better listen. Almost half of those over 85 show signs of Alzheimer's disease. The heart beats at maximum exertion about 25% slower than it did at age 20, but compensates by expanding and pumping more blood per beat. And, of course, the stereotype notwithstanding, personality doesn't change with age. So a cranky 80-year-old was probably a cranky 30-year-old. So we've seen how the different decades of our life, folks, can affect us, and we better be ready for them.
I don't necessarily know if I agree with the whole personality thing, because honestly, if you would have met me 10 years... Well, you knew me like 10 years ago, Ace. I was this whiny, broody, angsty, like 18-year-old, and now I'm more practical. I mean, that could, I guess, be adolescence and then, like, growing, but I feel like that's a change in personality.
Do you think it's personality change? That you call that personality change, huh? Okay.
Yeah, well, because I feel like my personality back then was more... Let's use bitchy. Like, back then, I was whiny bitchy. Now, I am more snarky bitchy. Like, I feel like that's a change in personality.
Well, I guess so. Once an asshole, always an asshole. Is that possible? I don't know. Okay.
I'm going to write a book called The Factions of Bitchy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Before we
I'm sorry, ditto Donny on the whole personality thing. I don't think that our personalities stay the same at all. Maybe at base level, but come on.
I have talked with some cranky 80-year-old people. They're on their way to 90. They're cranky. I said, and I point blank have asked them. I says, what were you like when you were a kid? And after we got talking into it, I'm saying, my God, he was a cranky old bastard even when he was young.
So I guess this means that bitchy is my baseline. I just go through different evolutions of it.
Yeah, probably.
Interesting.
Well, one more little bit of medical advice for our listeners. My personal belief is to believe in preventive medicine. It'll save you probably millions of dollars with the way costs are these days before you die, if you believe in preventive medicine. Now, you say, well, I can't go to a doctor and have them check me. Listen, with what we got today to work with Medicare, Obamacare, whatever it is, there are ways that you can get your medical needs met. For poor people like me, it's easier to get them met than it is for people that are in a position where they actually have a job and are making some money. That's difficult for them because those dollars are pretty dear. But poor people, real poor people like me, we can get taken care of very wonderfully in America. I can go into a doctor at any time. I'm covered because I'm poor. Therefore, I've got the coverage. And I can say, I want to find out, because we haven't done this for a few years, and I did it this last week. I want to find out if my testosterone level has changed from 3 years ago. And the doctor says, okay, no cost, but I get the test. And so, folks, you can do it. And I brought up testosterone because it's probably one of the most important things in our life, especially for the males. And if you're a female and you have an overabundance of testosterone, that's not good because you grow a lot of hair on your face and legs and every place. But the testosterone situation, it peaks at age 20. It's peaked for you, Donny. It's peaked for Sean, and it definitely is peaked for me. My testosterone level from that point on began a decline. And we know where testosterone is produced, don't we? It's in the testes, or as we'd like to call them, balls. The normal range of testosterone is in the 260, 270 to 1070 to 1200 bracket. That's normal. The average should be around 680 or so. When I first went in to get I asked the doctor, I says, why am I so damn exhausted? Day after day, I'm just absolutely exhausted. And this has been about, I don't know how many years ago now. And he says, did you ever have a testosterone test? And I said, not that I know of. Well, he says, that we better do it. He says, we'll find out what's causing your exhaustion. I said, testosterone test, isn't that to make sure for whether or not I can get a hard on? He says, no, that's not at all. And so they tested me. I was like 60. 60, he says, no wonder. I'm surprised you can walk. He says, you have your testosterone level, it should be 680 or whatever, So I was really, really low. And so they put me on shots. And it is amazing, folks. It is amazing that the testosterone level in the human male can mean so much. It can give you so much extra energy that you won't believe what is happening to you as a no matter what age you are. Yeah.
Well, it's menopause that's sort of a syndrome that's out there. I don't know if it's technically a medical term or Ace, are you lighting cigarettes?
No, I lit a cigar.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. You're smoking cigars. I forgot. Okay, sorry. Sorry, everyone out there. I have to keep tabs on Ace and his smoke.
Yes, Mother. Okay.
You're the one who's like lecturing us on all this medical jargon. So come on. Anyways, there is this thing that's out there. It's called menopause, and it's what men go through. It's like a menopause for men, but they go through it a little bit earlier, where the testosterone dips significantly. You're listless. Your sexual energy goes down big time. Sometimes there are erectile dysfunction issues.
Yeah,
that's all normal. I mean, is it fun and is it great? No, but it's normal, and I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, and the menopause thing. Now, if the male and a human is going to stray, he'll start this at age 40. That's when he'll want to stray, and he'll become an adulterer or something or other they call it. Anyway, that's usually age 40 for the male. I don't remember what it was for the female, but that is there. Now, that has nothing to do with the menopause. That does come a little later, I think, for the men, right? Probably after they go through that rush of wanting to get an extra piece of ass. Mm-hmm.
What does that have to do with it?
Well, at 40, I don't know.
Well, we're talking about like chemical changes in the body, and you're equating it to sex. Do you think it's...
Well,
obviously the two are related, but yeah.
If the testosterone levels in our bodies, which relates to sex, of course, because the testosterone, it's a hormone that makes a man, so to speak. Without the testosterone from the time that we were born, we don't know if we're a man, until maybe we find out at age 12, 15 or something or other that I'm a woman and I'm born in a man's body. That's another story, you see. But it all has to do with testosterone.
So you're saying the true mark of a man is based upon his testosterone level.
Yeah, and they function at different levels over periods of years in our lives.
Nothing to do with confidence or caring or concern or help me out.
I don't know. I just try to avoid being anything that panders to, the gender binary.
Why?
Mostly because, I don't know. I've discovered that I've kind of discovered that I'm a little bit genderqueer. Like, I don't feel like I fit in with, things that traditional men would do. Like, I don't have that desire of me man, me go fix car kind of,
Yeah, me Tarzan, you Jane. Yeah.
And I don't completely feel like I fit in with, women. Like, I don't feel the need to do things that either gender binary does. So I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess the testosterone thing, that deals more with, like, my actual, sex as a male. Like, by having this testosterone, I am indeed male. But that could be me just getting the sex and gender mixed up, because sometimes that can happen.
Well, sex and gender are not the same thing, of course,
Well, don't you think that we all have masculinity and femininity in our
wires
within us, in our wires? Thank you. Yes, within us, in our DNA overall. And sometimes you're a little more feminine than you are masculine, and vice versa. The same thing is true with women. Yeah. Sometimes women can act masculine, and vice versa. It's and that's the way that we tag it, if you will.
Yeah.
But I think it really is just acting the way the situation calls for.
Right, right.
And it's demure versus strong, and men can act demure and women can act strong, and that goes up and down. It's situational, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, and when we think of the words demure and strong and what we associate with those are culturally created things as well.
True.
Now that we have, ventured into discussing, gender on a wider level, we see that strength comes in different forms. Demureness, if that is even a word, comes in different forms as well.
Hey, if we can make celebritizing a word, we can make demureness a word.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
We first had celebritizing, now we have demureness. Good.
Demureness.
Hey, Sean, let's do it this way. At the end of the show now, because we've got now a few minutes left, that's about all. Why don't you do the commercials, and we'll end the show with commercials and then our goodbyes.
Well, Ace, we're going to go to an hour and a half. I've already put it in the comments.
Oh, you did put it in the comments.
Yes, listeners, I'm just letting you and Ace to see. Donny knows this and Mike knows this because they're looking at their comment section.
Okay.
But we're on a roll here, so I've made the call to go an extra half an hour. So I was going to let you know, but you were dispensing of all of those
Yes.
health milestones for me.
Yes.
All right, okay. Let's take a break so I can do some commercials, and then I want to. When we finish with this topic, I have a new no pass or A for effort situation that I want to run by you guys now.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, and Donny, I think you'll really like this one. Okay.
Yay.
All right, let's give a big thank you to our sponsors. First of all, we'd like to thank an awesome company run by our brilliant engineer, miraculous Mike Means, and his lovely wife, our girl, Juanita. I should say our girl, because she's our girl. They run a great company called Eclectic Resources, and they do great stage and theatrical design and jewelry design and audio and video editing. Please visit their website at www.eclectic-resources.net. Next, and equally as fabulous, let's thank our friends at Diversity Rules Magazine, a wonderful LGBT-focused online magazine that can be found at www.diversityrulesmagazine.com. And also, they now are available as an app on your smartphone. Diversity Rules Magazine, celebrating the diversity of our humanity. And we are beyond thrilled to now be featured on Next Big Thing Radio, a terrific podcasting website featuring funny and informative shows from our fellow podcasters. You can visit their website and hear all these shows, including ours, at http:// then go right into it, nextbigthingradio.net. They, too, have an app for your smartphone. Next Big Thing Radio, podcasting for a new age. If you'd like to learn more about the legendary Ace Lundon, you can visit his blog, Scatter Thoughts from a Scrambled Brain, where he waxes philosophic and funny on a wide range of topics. You can find that at acelundon.wordpress.com. And if you enjoy watching YouTube videos, check out Donny Winter's YouTube channel at youtube.com/Donny Winter, where he discusses a variety of subjects ranging from his own personal experience of being a bullying survivor to becoming a major voice in LGBT activism. Through his videos, Donny strives to help others overcome the silence we're shamed into when facing traumatic experiences, as well as shed light on current issues within the LGBT community. To learn more about moi, my name is Sean Chandler. You can visit my writer's website at www.seanwchandler.com, or you can follow me on Twitter at SeanAtTheFlash. And of course, visit the new Lundon Calling London Bridge website for posted shows and updates at www.london-calling.com. And don't forget to like us on Facebook, and you could see our new banner pictures at facebook.com/London Bridge. And we have exceeded 500 likes, which is our goal, and we thank everybody for going on there and liking us and telling our friends to do so. And again, you can see our new cool banner that we did with our cartoon pictures.
Yes, it's very good. Very good.
Yeah, if you guys ever get a chance to, this is to the listeners, if you ever want to share our things, feel free to share our shows around too, because every little bit helps.
Yeah. That's a good suggestion.
Oh, totally. Oh my gosh. You know what, Donny? You're wrong.
I try. Hair flip.
You're not just a pretty face. You're a handsome face, just, keeping in with the theme.
Oh, my.
You're all things on the spectrum.
I like your hirsute look, Donny.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. And folks, if you don't know what hirsute is, sit on it and spin. Okay. You better look it up. You should have learned words like that in grade school.
Oh, Ace. Don't be difficult. Tell everybody who doesn't know what hirsute means.
It means hairy.
It means like scruffy, right?
Hairy. No, just hairy. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, hairy, scruffy.
Yeah, hairy, scruffy. Some hairies are scruffy. Yeah. At least you're not with those duck callers or whatever they are on television. Those duck men,
Oh my God, Duck Dynasty?
Yeah. Oh my.
Oh no.
And you know that they grew those beards for the show?
Ace, we shouldn't even be mentioning them on our show unless it's to rip on them. Those guys are so homophobic.
And they're so wealthy now. Oy, oy, oy. Must be nice to grow a beard and become a homophobe.
Well, if you're going to grow a beard, you might as well take care of it, and that's something they don't do.
No, they don't. I had a beard years ago, and it's not easy having a beard. I don't care what anyone says. Washing those beards and such, and mustache and long hair.
It can be frustrating sometimes.
Yeah.
I've actually gotten into the habit of combing my beard, too, which is very weird.
Yeah, no.
Like, I did it, like, a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh, damn, why didn't I try this before?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those Duck Dynasty guys can go fuck a duck as far as I'm concerned.
They're terrible.
Oh, my God.
By the way, folks, we have recently learned of the death of Supreme Court Justice Alioto. And Alioto? Yeah.
No, Scalia.
Scully. Okay, forget the first that I said. Anyway, he and I are we're the same age, or whatever. He is going to be a different age now because he died. And they're saying that the Republican Party is saying that Obama has to appoint someone who is like Scalia. What is his name? Antonin Scalia.
Antonin Scalia.
Yeah. There is only one Antonin Scalia on this planet. You cannot possibly, Mr. Republican Party, think about getting someone that could fulfill his shoes. This was an incredible man, whether you believed along his beliefs or not. He was an incredible man. And I know Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who is the liberal on the court. She and he were close friends, and she said, "I'm going to miss him something fierce. Going to miss him a lot." And here two so-called political enemies were the best of friends in real life. I like that, and I like a man and a woman who can do that. And to get another judge that could fill his shoes, no. He can get another judge. If I were president, I would put in a Republican, someone like, oh gosh, now I can't think of his name. See, that's what happens in the 80s. You lose all these little words. You know the two judges that fought in the Supreme Court. One was a Republican and one was a Democrat, and they won on the gay rights thing, marriage thing, or whatever it was. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Possible to say, I think that.
Yeah, well, there are so many issues out there that. I know you're going to have to be a little more specific on the issue and the judges, because that's how the Supreme Court is designed.
Those names will probably come to me in the middle of the night.
You could put it on Facebook, on our Facebook page, where we have our cool cartoon pictures.
Well, one was a Republican, one was a Democrat, and I'm saying if Obama would nominate that Olson was his name, Anyway, if you nominate him, he's a Republican, and yet he is a Republican with common sense as well as his conservative values. And that type of a judge would fit, nicely. And the Senate would have a hard time rejecting that.
I don't feel the same way about Scalia as you do, but I did hear that about he and Ginsburg being really, really tight. I think that I thought he was a bigot myself, but hey.
Well, he
just a little bit.
He might have been. Don't know for sure.
He was.
I can accept it. I've got friends who are bigots. Oh, God, they drive me crazy.
Well,
but we're still friends, and they know that they drive me crazy with their bigotry.
I mean, he was like, in my opinion, he was like of another century.
Yeah, basically, and yet it is all due to his unique approach to the Constitution. His is a wonderfully unique approach, and that's what made him what he is and was. Mm-hmm.
Well, how would you describe his approach?
We are who we have been becoming. Well, his was. Now you're trying to make me remember other words that I don't know.
I know it was very clinical. I know he was very much like, this is the way we designed our Constitution, and we should fall back on that without really any.
Right.
With very little focus to the idea of change.
He wanted to know. He wanted to come to the conclusion that what the Constitution said in the original days, that could it be expanded into a progressive Constitution that would become very different as the Constitution in these days? And so he said no, it couldn't. But
right.
Yes, it does, because we've had things like Social Security and everything like that. So it can change, and it's going to continue to change, because you cannot stop the progressive values of people.
Well, yeah, you're right. I don't think you're right. I don't agree with you on the greatness of him, but you are right. I mean, when it comes to the Constitution, it's, the Supreme Court is a very, it's a very special thing. Yeah. In that we're lucky that we do have both sides represented, and we're lucky that we have that in a president as well. Yeah. Because we have a tendency with our country to need to have certain agendas fulfilled at certain times. And sometimes if we have to wait for them, even if it's a long time, eventually it will come around to where those things will get addressed. Mm-hmm. And so there's a balanced. I just don't like some of the things he said and some of the decisions that he made and why. But I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who loved him.
Well, I don't know. Well, there evidently were quite a few, but I don't think he was the most endearing of the court. But who knows?
True. Yeah, true. Well, do you guys want to lighten this up and play No Pass or A for Effort?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Okay. Ace, are you finished with health class?
Yes.
I want to make sure.
Oh, no. One last thing.
Okay.
Sean, your T-cell count should be 606. Donny, yours should be 670. So when you get your testosterone tested, you'll know what it should be. 606 or 670.
Well, you said T cells.
What did I said? What?
You said T cells.
Oh no, testosterone. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Oh my God.
Well, let's clear that up now. That's important for everyone, and
yes,
gay men, and we have a vested experience with that. So, all right. So, anyways, recently, and like over the last couple of days, an American Idol star who finished fourth place in season 14. Speaking of, glorified game shows. His name was Rayvon Owen. He has come out of the closet. And I think this happened a while back, but it's just been sort of broadcast now. Because he put out a video called, to a song called Can't Fight It. And in the end of the video, he meets a mysterious man from across the room, and this is played by his real-life boyfriend, whose name is Shane Bitney Crone. And he, apparently, Crone did a documentary in 2013 called Bridegroom, when his partner, Tom Bridegroom, died, and the family kept him from the funeral. Well, anyways, that's Rayvon Owen's new boyfriend, I believe, in real life, I think. That's what I read from the comments.
Is he a vocalist?
Yes, he's a singer, and he came in fourth place on American Idol in season 14, which I believe was 2 ago. And now American Idol has never really had an openly gay contestant during the run of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that we should give Rayvon Martin a no pass? He should have done it when he was going to the show? Or do we give him an A for effort?
Well, to me, this kind of comes back to the whole celebritizing of the coming out story. Did you hear my sigh in the middle of you explaining that?
Yes, I did. Well, and I know that, your future husband is Adam Lambert, so...
yes.
He went through this, too. He didn't come out until he was off the show as well. And he came in as runner-up and probably way more popular than the winner that year.
Yeah. Well, and see, the thing is, to me, when a person waits till after a show to make a leap like that, that's telling me that they're afraid of that affecting their career. But at the same time, they're capitalizing on that, buzz from generating that, type of story. So, I mean, don't get me, can I be in the middle with that, between no pass and between A for effort? Because, I'm very proud of him for coming out, and I think that's really great. But again, I think that it falls within that glorification of the coming out story, which is not really considerate of all the other LGBTQ people out there who don't have the luxury of coming out in a grandiose fashion like that.
Well, Sean, you said something about him not coming out when the show was doing.
Right.
You can't tell somebody when to come out. Who knows what was going through his mind back when he was on the show. Outside of what Donny was saying there, he was probably worried about his career or things like that. That's all part of the coming out process. You have to get over all of those worries. And when you finally get over them, then you can come out.
Yeah.
Like I came out when I finally had to say to myself, okay, I don't care if I'm murdered, I cannot stay in the closet any longer because I'm dying in the closet. And so but it took me 40 years, you see. So you can't tell somebody when to come out. They'll come out when they can feel that, that it's good for them. So I'd say, yes, give him a good pat on the back, but don't criticize him because he didn't come out when he was on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I don't want it to seem like I'm trying to criticize him because that's not my intention, by the way. But I mean, his situation does differ from other situations that I have been vocal about, mostly on YouTube, because there are a lot of people on YouTube who will sit there and create elaborate coming out stories just to get the attention and just to get the buzz from it. That's what I don't agree with. Like, if he sincerely felt that he couldn't come out until this point in time, then, I say that's good. Like, I commend him for having the confidence to do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, as far as your boyfriend, Adam Lambert there, he didn't need to come out. All you had to do is see him on a show and you knew that boy is gay. Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's so fabulous, isn't he?
He was just too good looking, too smooth, too talented to not be gay.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Of course, I think our gay community is very, very talented.
Okay, so it sounds to me, if I'm going to guess at your responses, Ace, you're giving him an A for effort.
Yep.
And Donny, you don't want to issue a vote.
I abstain, yes. I feel like it should be in between.
Okay.
I'm gonna nominate Donny for the Supreme Court.
Okay, well, I'm going to give him a no pass, so we need a tiebreaker. So I wonder if Mike could be the tiebreaker.
Well, first, Sean, why are you giving him a no pass? I think we should know that first.
Because this is not the 60s or the 70s that Ace had to experience, where you didn't really even speak about being gay. I mean, it's like gay, as many times as we talked about it, was never really a word until
69.
And also, I look back at probably one of the biggest coming out in the media stories that I can recall, which was Ellen DeGeneres. Now, Ellen DeGeneres is out and proud and has her talk show now, but back in the 90s, she had a sitcom. And it was when she had a sitcom that she came out in. And she came out in real life, and her character Ellen on the show came out in the show in a beautiful episode that was called the Puppy episode. She did it when she was at the height, or one of the heights of her fame.
Yeah, but Ellen evidently has more balls than this kid.
Well, and granted, but Ellen had way more to lose. She lost it too.
Yeah,
she went in and she lost the show. People stopped watching the show. I personally watched the show more because I was more connected to it at that point. But she and I felt the show had a far more genuine point of view. But she did it when she didn't have to. She did it when she felt that it was right. And I just don't understand why someone can't go on in this day and age and say, hey, you know what, I'm gay. That's my boyfriend out there. Maybe not back when, in the first couple of seasons of American Idol, but now I think yes. Yeah. I think he could have done that. And quite frankly, even though, and I know you love him, even though he was on the cusp, Adam Lambert could have done it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he could have easily.
And like you said,
and
Ace,
no one would have disbelieved him. They would have said, yeah, I know.
Exactly. Now, whether or not American Idol has a policy of not allowing you to come out, I don't know. I've seen people get pretty far who were uber gay on that show. Right. Where I got a total gay vibe. So I'm going to say no pass. Ace says A for effort. Donny doesn't want to. Donny's middling. So I say we throw the vote to Mike. Mike, if you're listening and you paid attention to that, then you could throw out no pass or A for effort for Rayvon Martin. So there we go. Mike broke the tie.
Yeah, he did.
No pass.
Yeah.
Well, he's in his 50s, you know that. So,
see, for me, I think I'm a little biased though, because when I look at stories like this, I think of all the people out there who watch those stories. The people who aren't out yet, who think that that's what entails coming out. And it may even discourage some from not even coming out because that basically convinces them, oh, I need to have a boyfriend to come out, or, you know, I don't know. Am I making sense? Like, I hope I'm making sense.
Well, they're not seeing somebody in a position of real vulnerability, just saying, you know, I'm gay. I don't need to have a celebrity boyfriend to say it. I don't need to, you know, I can be at the height of my career and say it. Yeah, so many people are, like, for instance, Tom Delay, the swimmer, who is now with what's his name, Dustin Lance Black. Like, that guy wasn't gay until he was connected to an Academy Award-winning, openly gay screenwriter, and then he was bisexual, and now he's engaged to this guy.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
It feels like once people feel like they have the confidence of
Not being alone.
right, not being alone or having accomplished some sort of, I don't want to say trophy, but for lack of a better word, then that sort of props them up.
Yeah, and I guess that's what bothers me, because, I mean, when I came out, I was completely alone, and I had to work through that. And I feel like once people realize that they can get through these difficult things on their own, they learn to appreciate themselves more. And they ultimately learn more about themselves as well.
And we are still in that time. We haven't gone beyond yet. That time when there are way too many gays committing suicide. Because this whole thing of coming out, folks, it's not easy. If you've never done it, it's not easy. And, boy.
Well, it's easier.
Well, it's easier now, yes, but
Yeah.
it's still not easy. I mean, what about these two 14-year-old girls recently murder-suicide because they were breaking up or something like that, you know? The two lesbian young ladies.
Yeah, the girlfriends from Glendale.
Yeah.
Yeah, but from all the follow-up that I read about that, because that just happened a couple days ago, right?
Yeah.
All the follow-up that I read about that, it was like they were popular in school.
Yeah.
Like, they were well-liked. So I don't know, where would that oppression come from?
Well, they were having problems, I'm sure, with their the fact that they were both lesbians and at that age, and they're not going to be able to come up to what society says they need to come up to as young ladies, and it maybe got to them, and they argued and fought or whatever, and it all goes crazy round and round.
Yeah, and I never got suicidal when I was coming out of the closet. If anything, when I finally came out, I felt better and empowered. But that's just me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys had the same feeling.
No, I was suicidal before out of the closet.
I was before, during, and after.
Yeah. We all go through those suicide things.
Yeah. It really depends on a person's situation, too, because there are a variety of variables involved.
Yeah.
Well, tell me more.
Well, I mean, when I came out, like, a friend who got mad at me outed me to my parents. My parents were upset not only that I was gay, but they were upset over the fact that I couldn't tell them.
Yeah.
And I was already depressed before that because I felt alone and I wanted to be with someone and I couldn't because I wasn't out. And then I did come out, and when I finally started immersing myself in the gay community, I still didn't feel like I fit in anywhere. So that's, I mean, I don't know. It was just, I mean, obviously now I don't feel that way, but back then, those were some crazy times.
Yeah. And in small towns across America, even here in Bullhead City, we have a couple that we found. They moved here about a year ago. They didn't know there were any other gays here. And now that they've been introduced to our little group, that we get together, we talk, we have a gay time together. And they said to me the other day, it makes us feel so at home, you know, to be able to know that there are others in our community, and to engage with the others is an important thing, and it gives you strength.
Well, back to Ellen DeGeneres, and only because my husband watches the show. I'm not a huge fan of it, but President Obama was on her show a couple days ago. I think it was Friday, probably because it was President's Day. What, yesterday?
Yeah.
And she thanked him, and she said, I want to thank you as you're leaving office soon, and I want to thank you for everything you've done for the gay community. And he said something along the lines of the fact that it's not really him; it's the people out there who are being daring and who are taking the risk to come out, that they are and bringing people in and helping them and being the examples of what can happen. They're the ones who are, and this is a quote from him, are changing hearts and minds.
Yeah.
And that's
I just remembered the name of those two attorneys, David Boyce and Olson, Tom Olson or something like that.
Ken Olson.
Huh?
Ken Olson. Are you talking about the Prop 8 attorneys?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, Ken Olson.
Okay. Yeah. Those two attorneys. I'd appoint Ken Olson and let the Republican Party deal with making one of their own feel bad.
Well, he's one of those who I think he would be a decent appointee because
I do too.
He was also, wasn't he in charge of the prosecution team in the Lewinsky scandal when they were going to impeach Clinton or trying to?
Yeah.
So to have an attorney who does that and then flips over and then takes a Prop 8 case for the gays.
He's real. He's real. He's a sane Republican.
Yeah, they're out there. I mean,
yes, there are a few of us.
They're not entirely mythological.
I have a lot of Republicans in my family, so but we had to change their hearts and their minds.
Mm-hmm.
We did. David and I had to do a lot of that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, oh, these are gay people. Okay, well, they're also people, too.
Yeah.
And I think that if we're doing that as examples, that's what we can do for the world.
It is the job of every gay who is out of the closet to educate his parents, his relatives, his brothers and sisters, or her too. It is our job to educate others, and that is the best way we will be growing in the future.
Absolutely, and even if we're doing that in the face of adversity or loss.
Exactly. So your mother says, "I'm never going to talk to you again." Okay, bye, Mom. I'll come back to you in a little while after I know that you're sitting there crying, wondering how come I'm not talking to you. Because you kicked me out, Mother. That's why. And get down to reality things with your parents.
Or maybe you're not going to vote for me on American Idol.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, Donny. Sorry. You don't have to invite me to your wedding.
Oh, you're invited. Both of you are.
Although I love Adam Lambert. And, I think that he's like I want to say, isn't he like the top selling artist out of all of the American Idol family?
This year he is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And I'm sure Carrie and Kelly are not far behind.
Yeah, it usually bounces around between the three.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. Not even J. Hud. Well, she got an Academy Award, so.
Right.
And now she's in The Color Purple on Broadway, and I saw her. She's actually quite good. Anyways, I digress.
I heard that for your Broadway show in New York there, what's the name? Jefferson.
Hamilton.
That it's 9 months waiting to get a seat.
Yes, and I have seen it.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
I hate you.
I'll talk more about that on the next show.
Okay. Well, folks, we're down to the last time of the show. Take care of yourselves. Get into the idea of preventive medicine, please. In a day when 60-some% of our population is obese, or definitely overweight, it is so important. It is so important that you take care of yourself. Otherwise, we won't have any listeners if you're all dead. Okay? Okay. I was thinking Winston Churchill, and we've said this on other shows, the farther back you can look, the farther forward you are likely to see. That is important from the medical standpoint, too. Okay? So, good night, Sean. Good night, Donny. And good night, folks. Good night, Spider-Man.